that got me. One of the hardest things about it, I think, is that it's not on my terms. I feel better, I really do. A little over 6 weeks ago, my ex broke up with me. I might need my tissues for this. First is devastation and just survival. It was such a huge hit. The next couple days were all about beating myself up, really. I was embarrassed, I was ashamed. Our relationship was long and serious, and everyone knew about it, and I was afraid of what they would think of me. I was ashamed that I was the one that got broken up with, that I was the one being rejected. I saw it as a reflection of my worth, my value, like I was the failure, I'm not worthy. It was hard, I don't know, it was just really, really, really hard. And then it started to be a part of me, searching for meaning. Okay, this happened, I accept it, it's over. But what do I do with that? What do I do with this? It's really scary to not, it was really scary for me to not know this story to create from this, the meaning. And so I started searching for it. I was analyzing and replaying all these things that happened in our relationship. Did I make mistakes? Should I have not even gotten the relationship? Should I have stuck with my old ex? Should I have acted differently? It didn't even need to be the right answers. I needed something, and I was searching for it. Those 2 weeks were about mourning, and not so much, it wasn't so anxious and desperately trying to find meaning like it was initially. It was more just mourning about the things I was losing. Some days I would really hype it up and feel really like the victim and hurt and sad, and to not have the other side of it, where I have a place now, obviously, and I'm picking things up. I didn't have that then, and it's hard. It's shattering to lose your foundation like that. So once we had gotten back, I think in total it was week 3, and we had 2 weeks together in that house. So it was week 3 to 5 were more steady, weren't having volatile, angry encounters anymore, or I wasn't trying to save the relationship. I accepted it to a degree. But some things would just make me really sad, hearing a certain song, or cuddling with my dog, or packing was a big trigger. The symbolism of putting stuff away and leaving a place after someone decided they didn't want to be with you was just oh, that got me. And whenever I packed, it was just a wreck. And other times I was okay. I was kind of excited, I was curious, and I was starting to, as it got closer to my move out date, I was starting to believe more and more that I'd be okay. All right, we finally got to the redemptive sort of part where it gets easier, and that's when I finally moved out. This is when I started filming more, and so I'm just gonna let those run. Whew. Mover's just finished. Got all my stuff in the new place. I am pooped, but it's done. This is me and everything to my name right now, I guess. And fucking red cabinets. What are we gonna do with that? All right, day 2. It's the morning after sleeping here for the first night, and things are still pretty chaotic. Yeah, last night was the first time I slept alone for a while. I mean, not with family or friends or a partner. In theory, even if we were separated, this felt like the first time I was actually single, and that was tough. But today there's sun out and there's possibility and there's a lot of things to do, clearly. So that's giving me life. You see my desk there, I got set up. All right, it's 6 p.m., day 3, and I'm just getting ready to pick up a chair and an over-the-toilet storage, and that's it. Man, I'm tired, and I'm ready to just return the U-Haul and sleep for a bit. But I got a couple more things to do, so let's go. It's the morning of day 3, and I just had my coffee and my coffee poop, and I'm feeling better. Go figure. So now it's not raining either today, so that's nice, even though it's cloudy. And I'm looking up videos on shades and blinds, and I'm just thinking about what to do with this awesome window here. It's 12:15 a.m. and I'm a lot more worn down than in the morning. Just looking around, it's just a mess still, and I'm feeling like I knew this would be a lot, but it's a lot more than I even thought it would be to move and decorate and deal with all the feelings. And one of the hardest things about it, I think, is that it's not on my terms. I'd probably feel a lot better about it if I had control over it, or if it were my decision, but because someone else decided something and I kind of had to do this, I feel crestfallen. That's a good word. I feel crestfallen and just kind of worn out from it all. So generally I feel shittier at night anyway, so hopefully in the morning I'll be bright and cheery and ready to take on the day. Morning of day 4, and I'm in a good mood, as I usually am in the morning. Got my iced coffee, and last night, let me show you what happened. So I got 2 things, a chair and an over-the-toilet storage, and then I returned the U-Haul. So now I'm without wheels for a week or 2 until my car comes. And here's the chair right there. I love this thing. All right, it is day 6 on Saturday. Yeah, overall, I'm just feeling a lot better than the last couple of days. I think it was so hard to be reminded of the things I was losing before, because I was in my old house that I rented with my ex, and I was around my ex all the time, and I didn't have the space to start building my new place, my new life. And now that I have that, I feel so much better. Yesterday I went out climbing with some people from a meetup group, and then we went and got drinks. And then the night before I climbed with a friend that I met at a climbing competition a couple weeks ago. And so I'm starting to reach out and meet people. I met someone downstairs who has a dog, and that was awesome because I miss my guy. So yeah, it's getting easier and easier, and that's a big relief. So we got to the conference part, week 6 or so, and I had been looking up a lot of breakup content, of course, trying to learn and figure out what to do. And this guy kept coming up who was a British relationship expert, I guess, and he was organized. I really liked his stuff, how he thought about it, and he was organizing a virtual retreat. And I usually don't do things like that, but it seemed like I had just moved in here and it was a good time to like reframe and to really step into the next stage. So I invested in it and I spent 3 days like working on his stuff live with about 800 other people. And at first it felt weird and awkward, and there were like these dances that I was like, I don't know. And then I settled into it and I really just surrendered to the content. And if I were to summarize it all, it would be building core confidence, like understanding your certainty and how to take care of yourself in a compassionate way, which is what I really have needed all my life, but especially now. And it was really powerful. And I feel like that was a turning point in my life, honestly, and especially in this part of the breakup, because I was spiraling and constantly blaming myself and beating myself up about how I failed or I'm not worthy, etc., etc. And this has helped me reframe it. So that was big. And that leads me up to a couple days ago. And since then, I've been job searching. I've been feeling good. Like starting to go from okay to good. And it feels great to have my own place, and it's starting to look a little nice. And I'm excited about finishing the living room project, and I'm climbing with people, I'm meeting people at breweries, I'm playing basketball tonight, like I'm getting out there, and I don't see it as such a tragic story like I used to, and I feel better, I really do. All right, this is the part where I get to pretend I'm all wise and like explain how to deal with your breakup. And I honestly don't feel like I'm there yet, but I'm very clear on what worked for me these past 6 weeks, and let me share that at least. The first was accepting my feelings as normal and expressing them, experiencing them when they came up. That has been tough for me in the past, and I tried to make a commitment to just let that happen. I didn't always do great at it, but when I did, I felt better. Like if I was feeling sadness, I have a couple tells, like my lip will quiver like that. I'll go, oh, or it's my breathing's hard, or I'll have some thoughts. Like I can kind of know when it's coming. If I sit and let it happen, I feel so much better. And I was looking at a lot of breakup stuff, and the stuff from men especially was hyper focused on the rebuilding phase, like move on, she wasn't the person you thought she'd be, get out there, get your body set and build a cool thing, and that's not wrong, but for me, I couldn't like fast forward past the actual feelings because they were there. If you went through a breakup, you lost a lot, and you lost a friend, you lost your future that you had projected together, you lost maybe shared possessions, you lost trust, you lost trust in yourself maybe, and it's normal to be sad about that and to express that sadness. And the more I could believe that, the better I felt. All right, second was being around people that loved me. That just helps counterbalance the self-criticism that can go on, because it was just proof to me that I'm not alone, I'm still worthy of love, and people are there to support me. Even if I don't have this person in my life anymore, I still have people, and they didn't always give me exactly what I needed. Like some people just couldn't, but just the fact that people were giving me their time or trying the best they could to help me meant a lot. And the third thing that worked was exercising, and not in the form of how I would in the past, like trying to get a revenge bod, but I mean, just getting out, moving, biking. For me, it was rock climbing and light weightlifting or cycling and stuff, like, because just the message that I can take care of my body, and somehow my mind just followed that and stopped beating itself up and started trying to take care of itself more, and it felt good, and it gave me an escape from everything. So surprise, surprise, like working out's good for you. You didn't need me to tell you that, but it still helped. All right, fourth thing that really helped me was lowering my bar for what I expect out of myself in terms of productivity, because it's so hard to predict when the emotions will strike, and it's hard to predict how long a job search will take, or how long an apartment search will take, or how much of a toll certain conversations will have on me. And I initially naively thought I could compartmentalize it and just work for my regular day and then work on all that stuff, and it just didn't go like that. And so eventually I did just lower my expectations for what I needed to get done, how soon things needed to get done, and focused on healing. Like I thought of healing as my main job, and that's a privileged place, that's a privileged option to have, but to the extent that you can give that to yourself, it'll probably help. It definitely helped me. Fifth was talking about it. And I've had a therapist for a bit now, and he's been great, and I've just hearing his perspective was really great, and having space to say what I needed to say was great. But also talking to people in my family or friends who I knew were able to give me what I needed out of those conversations, which were validation and support and not trying to fix it. I know some of the conversations I had from other people were to the extent of like them trying to fix it or kind of negate how I was feeling, or explain like, no, it's not that bad. See, because you have all this going for you. And those were true, but it wasn't what I needed at the time. And I learned to focus, like really double down on the communication with the people who could give me what I needed, and not judge the ones who couldn't, because a lot of them couldn't give that to them. They didn't have that to offer. And so I can't like expect them to give it to me. And actually, I mean, there were some moments when I didn't know, like, are you someone who can really hear what I'm saying and empathize and like make me feel okay about how I'm feeling? Or are you someone who is just gonna reject it and try to get past it somehow? You don't always know. And so in my good days, I would kind of just let it come out and see what happened. And some people surprised me, like when I was moving, I had 2 movers for a couple hours help me with the big stuff, and they were asking like, why are you moving? Why is this person staying? And I was just like, straight up, going through a breakup. It's really hard, and this is what it is. And they were great, because one of them went through a big divorce and talked about his experience, custody stuff and alimony stuff and kid stuff and new house stuff and mortgage stuff. And the other guy talked about how he did the same thing with his ex earlier in the year. And it was kind of like we were there with each other for 2 hours, but they were in it with me, and they knew the hurt I was going through. And I created the opportunity by being honest with them, and that like got me through that day. That felt amazing. So I guess depending on what your temperature is for vulnerability, like risking it a bit can have payoffs. And if it didn't, like for the people where I would just try saying something, they weren't there to meet me halfway, remembering that it's not a reflection on me and my value was healthy, so I didn't spiral and beat myself up because I made someone uncomfortable. Like that's not a me issue. And remembering that makes it easier to be vulnerable and honest in the future. Journaling, sixth, which helped me not identify with it. I used to meditate a lot. I do more now, but when it was really extreme, I couldn't do that. And so just writing it down and separating my thoughts was really helpful and really interesting to look back on, because even in the span of a day, I would see how extreme my thoughts were about it, and it just gave me that space. So I would just scribble whatever on a piece of page and not make it more complicated than that, and it really helped. All right, lastly was a creative outlet that I was excited about, creating that for me. So you saw it was decorating. That was big for me, because I knew the end goal is to have a space that I really love, and it gave me a chance to do that, and it's tactile, and I could use my hands and do errands and get out to collect stuff, and it didn't require feedback from other people. That's one thing I've struggled with when I create one of these videos, or I write a newsletter, or I launch a new update on my app, and people don't respond how I want them to respond. I've let that affect me. And so it was really great to have something creative where I'm building and bringing my personality into it that didn't have an element of depending on someone else liking it. That felt so good, and it was so rewarding to have that outlet for that part of me who wants to be in the present and in the future and move forward and be happy now. That was great. Lastly, gotta say, I'm still a mess in a way. I'm put together now, but I don't want it to seem like I feel like I got it all figured out. I feel like I'm still learning, and I still will be learning for years, what this is and how to make sense of it. And I still cry. I still feel down on myself sometimes, even though I'm getting better at coming back to center. I still have fantasies about my ex, realizing how great I am, or waking up one day and coming back or begging me back, and I don't think it'll happen. I don't want it to happen. The strong part of me doesn't, but there's still that part of me. And I guess with this arc, it started out really sad, and then it got really triumphant. I'm not trying to make it seem like I fixed it or it's great. I'm still working through this, and that's totally normal. I think that's okay. I think that's okay to be a work in progress and still be figuring it out. We made it. That was 6 weeks of breakup. And let me know if you found anything helpful, what it was in the comments. And if you're interested in following along on this journey, hit that subscribe button. When I'm not being heartbroken, I'm a developer, and I'm making a calendar app that helps you get more done by focusing on less. And I post a lot about that, and I'm doing more lifestyle blogs too. The next one's going to be about decorating this place, actually, and how that all goes. So subscribe, follow along, and have a good day. Take care of yourself.